Welcome back to Dark Cinema Recaps, where horror is for life, not just for October. Today, we're starting a new franchise, and I cannot wait. It's one of my all-time favourites. I'm going to address this now, before we go on any further. Why is it the middle of January and your Christmas decoration's still up? For us, it's not January, it's November. We film these things time in advance. So if it gets into June and there's still Christmas things popping up, that's why. 5 Michigan State University students, Ash Williams and his girlfriend Linda, sister Cheryl and their friend Scott and Scott's girlfriend Shelley, vacation in an isolated cabin in rural Tennessee. Approaching the cabin, the group notices the porch swing move on its own, but suddenly stop as Scott grabs the doorknob. While Cheryl draws a picture of a clock, the clock stops and she hears a faint demonic voice tell her to join us.
Her hand becomes possessed, turns pale and draws a picture of a book with a demonic face on its cover. Although shaken, she does not mention this incident. When the cellar trapdoor flies open during dinner, Shelley, Linda and Cheryl remain upstairs as Ash and Scott investigate the cellar.
They find the Natrum Demonto, a Sumerian version of the Egyptian Book of the Dead,
along with archaeologist Raymond's tape recorder, and they take the items upstairs. Scott plays a tape of incantations that resurrects a demonic entity.
What a bellend. Cheryl yells for Scott to turn off the tape recorder, and a tree branch breaks through one of the cabin windows. Later that evening, an agitated Cheryl goes into the woods to investigate the strange noises. Now, this was 1981, it's a different time. Even said since that this was a bad idea. Pre-warning, bit rough, what happens, rhymes with grape. And she's attacked and graped by the vines and branches of demonically possessed trees. When she escapes and returns to the cabin bruised and anguished, Ash agrees to take her back into town, only to discover that the bridge to the cabin has been destroyed. Cheryl panics, realizing they are now trapped and the demonic entity will not let them leave.
Back at the cabin, Ash listens to more of the tape, learning that the only way to kill the entity is to dismember a possessed host. As Linda and Shelley play spades, Cheryl correctly calls out the cards without looking at them and succumbs to the entity and levitates. In a raspy, demonic voice, she demands to know why they are disturbing her sleep and threatens to kill them. She stabs Linda in the ankle with a pencil and throws Ash into a shelf. Scott knocks Cheryl into the cellar and locks her inside. Everyone fights about what to do, having become paranoid upon seeing Cheryl's demonic transformation. Shelley lies in her room but is drawn to look out the window, where a demon crashes through and attacks her, turning her into a deadite.
She attacks Scott before he throws her into the fireplace, slashes her wrist and then stabs her in the back with a Sumerian dagger, apparently killing her. When she reanimates, Scott dismembers her with an axe. Ash and Scott then bury her remains. Shaken by the experience, Scott decides to leave in order to find a way back to town. He returns shortly after, mortally wounded from the possessed trees. I wonder if he got graped as well. And dies while warning Ash that the trees will not let them escape alive. When Ash checks on Linda, he is horrified to find that she has become possessed. She attacks him, but he stabs her with a Sumerian dagger. Unwilling to dismember her, he buries her instead. She revives, obviously, because it even said dismember them, and attacks him, forcing him to decapitate her with a shovel!
Her headless body bleeds on his face and tries to him. He manages to escape as Linda dies, and then retreats back to the cabin. Back inside, Ash discovers that Cheryl has escaped the cellar. Cheryl eludes Ash and attempts to choke him. As Ash escapes her grasp, he shoots Cheryl in the jaw. As Ash is barricading the door, Scott reanimates into a deadite. Scott attacks Ash and inadvertently knocks the book closer to the fireplace. Ash gouges Scott's eyes out and pulls the tree branch from Scott's stomach, causing him to bleed out and fall to the ground. Cheryl breaks through the trapdoor and knocks Ash to the floor. As Scott and Cheryl continue to attack Ash on the ground, Ash grabs the book and throws it into the fireplace.
While the book burns, the deadites freeze in place and begin to rapidly decompose. large appendages burst from both corpses, covering Ash in blood. Now, this bit just looks amazing.
It
The
does,
stop motion just melting into the ground. Oh, I love this
brilliant.
film. The bodies of Scott and Cheryl then completely decompose. Dawn breaks, and Ash stumbles outside. As Ash walks away from the cabin, an unseen demon moves rapidly through the forest, rushes through the cabin, and attacks him as he screams in terror. Oh, Evil Dead!
Yes.
I'm so glad we're doing this!
Yeah.
Evil Dead 1 just slaps. I mean, this
really
was
does.
a no-budget film
Yes.
that was kind of just like
Like a passion project, really.
yeah, and it was just kind of put together by
Everybody was
Raimi
just-
and
yeah.
Ash Williams, like in the early 20s,
Yeah.
and then like Stephen King saw it.
I was like,
said
I'm gonna
that
put
he
my name on
loved
this,
it. Like he said, like it's like the most
Yeah.
original horror film to come out this year. Boom. Then controversy with the whole
Yeah.
scene with the trees. So Evil Dead 2.
Yes.
It's a sequel, it's a reboot,
Yes.
and I can't wait to cover that next week, because Evil Dead 2 is arguably one of the greatest horror films of all time. But Evil Dead 1,
Yes.
it's not the most iconic, it's not the best, but it is the foundation.
Yeah, it
upon-
really made the whole point of it. It got the unseen force, and then suddenly everybody's being taken over. It really put that force into our minds.
What I like about Evil Dead 1 into Evil Dead 2, whilst Evil Dead 2 is effectively a remake,
Yeah.
it just kind of like, everybody knows the place, they don't spend
Yeah.
a great deal of time re-explaining everything.
No, because the characters are already known. It was just, well, let's do this with a bit more of a budget and a bit.
That's it,
more
let's
of a
do
look
it
through
again,
it, yeah.
but better.
Yeah.
And I love that, I fucking love that, and I fucking love this series. Except for Army of Darkness, that's a bit shit.